Greetings, wonderful audience. Amarjit here from Amar PTE classes. I hope you all are doing well. Do subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed yet, and share these videos with your friends also who are preparing for PTE. And if you need any kind of additional help like online classes and offline classes, then you can contact me. My number is given in the description box. Now in today's video I'm going to share the live mock test of the listening section of PTE. So these are the tasks which are contributing in the listening section of the PTE. So I will discuss the most important task of the listening section. First is the repeat sentence, then retell lecture, then after that summarize spoken text, and after that listening filling the blanks, then highlight incorrect words, and last one is the write from dictation. So these are the most important task of the listening section of PTE. So if you want to achieve 60 plus, 70 plus, then even 80 plus, then focus on these tasks only. So let's start. Keep your pen and paper ready for the listening tasks. So check your microphone.
Application forms for sharing a...
So it's working. Microphone is working. Microphone is working. So first is the repeat sentence.
Knowledge becomes a vital role in young generations.
Knowledge becomes a vital role in young generations.
At that time, people moved from towns to villages.
At that time, people moved from towns to villages.
It is expected that all students have their own laptops.
It is expected that all students have their own laptops.
You have to submit the project by the end of the week.
You have to submit the project by the end of the week.
None of the students found it difficult to get a job.
None of the students found it difficult to get a job.
His particular interest is in the 18th century French society.
His particular interest is in the 18th century of French society.
Such behaviors are regarded as a deviation of the norm.
Such behaviors are regarded as a deviation of the norm.
Students can choose graduate certificate, graduate diploma, and master course.
Students can choose graduate certificate, graduate diploma, and master course.
Human activities are the principal cause of global warming.
Human activities are the principal cause of the global warming.
It took several hours for the fire brigade to extinguish the blaze.
It took several hours for the fire brigade to the blaze.
A man who suffered serious brain damage during an operation is suing the hospital.
A man who suffered serious brain damage during an operation. So this is the retell lecture.
A new study of fish called sticklebacks shows that shy individuals actually prefer to follow fish that are similarly timid. This is Scientific American's 60-Second Science. I'm Karen Hopkin. This'll just take a minute. Researchers had trios of sticklebacks with known personalities play follow the leader. The fish were placed in a tank that had some plastic plants at one end and some food hidden at the other. In some of the groups, a bold fish and a shy fish acted as leaders, while another shy fish followed. and in other groups, it was a bold fish that did the following. The researchers recorded whether the follower sallied forth more frequently with the fish that was behaviorally similar or the one that was different. What they found is that shy fish were more likely to emerge from under cover when an equally wary fellow was already out there. Bold follower fish did not seem to care as much which leader they followed. Of course, no matter which fish a stickleback chose to stick with, the bold fish did lead more joint expeditions over the course of the experiment than their more retiring friends. That's because the bold fish initiated more trips, regardless of who might be tailing them. The researchers write that when offered a choice of leaders, sticklebacks prefer to follow individuals whose personality matches their own. But bolder individuals may, nevertheless, be able to impose their leadership, even among shy followers, simply through greater effort. Thanks for the minute. For Scientific American's 60-Second Science, I'm Karen Hopkin.
So 8 seconds is the preparation time for retail lecture. So try to note down the phrases and always use a good template. You can follow my template also. The speaker was discussing a new study of shy fish. He talked about the fish were placed in a tank. He mentioned that shy fish acted as leaders. He highlighted that bold fish and shy fish acted as leaders. He discussed that the course of the experiment. Finally, he suggested that be able to improve the leadership. Overall, the lecture was very informative. Answer short question.
How many years are there in 2 centuries?
200.
What do we call an amount of money that is taken off the usual cost of something?
Discount and reduction.
What is the generic term for gold, silver, and copper?
Metal.
Which continent is Canada located in?
North America.
What is the opposite of the minus sign?
Plus sign.
What is the food that is used in a recipe?
Ingredient. So summarize spoken text.
David Olivia Garcia is a co-host of New Mexico in Focus and is also the managing editor for the New Mexico Independent, which is an online news website. He says that the internet has some great benefits for journalism. The internet is this new, amazing medium. Not so new, it's been around quite some time now, but it's maturing as, among other things, a place for journalism. In a sense, the internet allows you to tell stories better than in a newspaper or on television. For this reason, you can do it all online. You can have the written word. You can have still photographs. You can have video. You can link and kind of connect to the other journalism that has been done on a given topic. So it's not like you're in a vacuum. The internet has had a negative impact on these papers. However, John Fleck, who is a columnist for the Albuquerque Journal and also has his own blog, says that he doesn't think that it's entirely the case. It really makes me more efficient as a journalist in terms of information gathering, confirmation, helping me get the background necessary to write a story. So it's really good for that.
So this is the summarized spoken text, and the word limit is 50 to 70 words and time limit is 10 minutes, but in AP Uni you need to write at least more than 55 words so that you can get good marks in the content, because content is contributing 2 points in it. So let's start. You can follow the template in this module. The speaker was talking about, so this is the journalism and the internet. journalism and the internet, because internet जो है वो noun है, so always put the before the noun. So here it is internet, full stop, firstly F capital, comma, he discussed a new Mexico of the focus. Secondly, he highlighted online news websites, online news websites and kind of connected. This is the next phrase. Next, in addition, this is the line from the template. In addition, he explained some great benefits of the internet. Some great benefits of the internet. Moreover, the lecture was all about the negative impacts of these papers and blogs. Overall, the lecture was very useful and informative for me. So this is the last line. So I got lot of queries from students कि how to write the summarized spoken text correctly. So first you have to know कि जो summarized spoken text है इसमें कौन कौन से points contribute कर रहे हैं. First is the content, then grammar, then spelling and vocabulary. So in AP unit try to write down at least 55 words. Means more than 55 words you can also write, so that you can get good score in the content part. But in grammar में आपने याद रखना है कि जब भी आप कोई टेम्पलेट फॉलो करते हो, बिकॉज इन समराइज स्पोकन टेक्स्ट क्या होता है कि आपने लेक्चर सुना, उसके बाद आप लिख रहे हो कि आपने लेक्चर में क्या सुना. सो जो भी टेम्पलेट आप फॉलो करोगे उसमें पास्ट से रिलेटेड ही बात होगी. उसमें जो सेंटेंसेस होंगे वो पास्ट में होंगे, लाइक डिस्कस्ड, देन स्पीकर वॉज टॉकिंग, देन लेक्चर वॉज ऑल अबाउट. सो मीन्स वॉज कि पास्ट में बात हो रही है. सो इफ यू आर यूजिंग अ सेंटेंस इन द प्रेजेंट एंड इन द फ्यूचर, देन कनेक्ट दो सेंटेंसेस, दोज टू सेंटेंसेस विद दैट. सो आपने दो सेंटेंसेस को दैट के साथ कनेक्ट करना है. सो आपने इस चीज़ को चूज करना है और एटलीस्ट ट्राई टू राइट डाउन more than 62 words. Next question.
Yes, it's funny you should mention Merwin. Until about a year ago, I thought England was the only country that had a poet laureate. After all, it's a pretty odd job, isn't it? No salary to speak of and just a barrel of wine or something as payment. But he was, or is, the American poet laureate, isn't he?
That's right, but quite a few other countries have one too.
I know. I looked into it a bit. Other countries in the UK, for a start. Wales, as you'd expect, with their Eisteddfods and long poetic tradition. And Ireland and Scotland. I think some places that were colonies or in the Commonwealth have them. Canada, for example. And who's that wonderful Caribbean poet? The one that wrote Omeros.
Derek Walcott.
That's him. He was the poet laureate of St. Lucia. But what about the rest of Europe? Don't the French have such a thing?
No, I don't think so. They've got the Academy, and you get elected to that if you're considered the best in your field. But I think Germany might have. No, it wasn't Germany. Somewhere else, but I don't remember. By the way, you're a bit behind the times in thinking what they get paid as a barrel of wine. All that changed long ago. But one of the more recent ones asked to have it back.
So this is the MCQ multiple answer, and this task has the negative marking, so choose your answer wisely. So in which answer you are not sure, then you can skip it, but if you are sure, then you can mark it. So here I am short in section B, point B, and the point D. Listening, filling the blanks. Keep your cursor here.
Brooke and her colleague Mark Newman studied who swapped messages with whom on a popular online dating platform in the month of January 2014. They categorized users by desirability using PageRank, one of the algorithms behind search technology. Essentially, if you receive a dozen messages from desirable users, you must be more desirable than someone who receives the same number of messages from average users. And then they asked, how far out of their league do online daters tend to go when pursuing a partner?
I think people are optimistic realists.
In other words, they found that both men and women tended to pursue mates just 25% more desirable than themselves.
So they're being optimistic, but they're also taking into account their own relative position within this overall desirability hierarchy.
And the study did have a few more lessons for people on the market.
I think one of the take-home messages from the study is women could probably afford to be more aspirational in their mate pursuit.
So first one is the categorized. So they categorized, so you can write categorized with S and Z. So here it is the spelling, so check your spellings. Next जो line है आपकी वो यहाँ पे खत्म होती है, means here it is full stop. Then you will start the next line with the capital letter. So it is essentially. Essentially with double L-Y and double S double L. Optimistic, realist. More than plural. Lessons in their mate pursuit. Categorized, essentially with capital E because the line is ended here. Now optimistic, realist because again R hai, and here it is few more. More is the plural, then we will write here lessons and in their mate pursuit. So this listening filling the blanks is from the prediction. Next one. Note down the spellings carefully.
Green chemistry is a concept designed to develop technologies which allow chemistry to be practiced with minimal damage to the environment or in an environmentally compatible way, and it's meant to cover both chemical processes and chemical products. The center was set up about 7 or 8 years ago, and the idea was to provide a hub of activities that covered fundamental research work, international collaboration, but also educational development on public understanding of the project as well, and also networking, so we network out to well over 1,000 people around the globe.
So first one is to develop technologies environmentally compatible. So here it is the spelling of compatible. Next products. So you can check from here also because chemical processes. तो यहाँ पे क्या आएगा chemical products. That covered fundamental research work. First write the funda, then mental understanding. So check your spellings. Proofreading is very important in the task of writing sections. Technologies, compatible, products, fundamental, and here it is understanding. third question of listening filling the blanks.
Is that person really glad to see me? Or are they just being polite? Some people struggle to distinguish a fake grin from a truly happy smile. And computers have found this task even more difficult, that is, until researchers develop a program to detect when a smile is genuine. Visual computing researchers at the University of Bradford in the UK started with software for simulating a changing facial expression. This program can examine a video clip of a human head and identify specific details around the eyes, cheeks and mouth. Then the program tracks the details moving relative to each other as the face smiles. Next, the scientists had their program analyzing two sets of video clips. In one, subjects performed posed smiles.
So first one is they just being polite, a fake grin, develop. Researchers develop a program simulating details and identify specific details. Last one is analyzing. So check spellings: being, fake, develop, simulating, details and analyzing. Highlight correct summary.
I'd like you to think for a moment about your hands and all the things you can do with them. You can use them to write or to drive. You can thread a needle, play the drums, build a wall, and so on and so forth. They can be careful and precise. Think of someone doing eye surgery, for example. But they can also generate huge forces. And here you might think of the sports person throwing a discus or lifting a heavy weight. How is it possible for our hands to be so incredibly flexible? Well, it's all down to the extraordinary complexity of the bones, ligaments, nerves, and muscles that lie beneath the skin of our hands. There are, for example, 9 muscles alone controlling just one thumb. Some of these are anchored to bones within the hand, while others link to the arm.
MCQ single answer, only one response is corrected. So this is the question.
Research suggests ADHD is 3 to 4 times more likely to be detected in childhood in boys, as they tend to exhibit more disruptive behaviours. The symptoms in girls tend to be more subtle, less hyperactive, more inattentive. The diagnosis gap between males and females appears to shrink in adulthood, but psychologists say the bias can remain. The ADHD Foundation says increased awareness is needed in health and educational settings about how the condition can present differently. A late diagnosis can negatively impact on relationships, careers and mental health. In England, NICE guidance has been updated to make it easier for doctors to detect women and girls with ADHD. Work to improve neurodevelopmental services is underway in Scotland and Wales, but there are currently no dedicated services for adults with ADHD in Northern Ireland.
So I think the last option is correct. They can't deal with their work well. Select missing word.
Why is lying to ourselves a problem? We need to tell ourselves the truth when we can, for the simple reason that we often pay a very high price for the short-term calm of our lies. We miss key opportunities for growth and learning. We're not very nice to be around. We develop harmful systems. And not least, the truth will out. When we don't let it emerge, it has a tendency to reveal itself through involuntary, often physical symptoms. We become insomniac or impotent, an eyelid starts twitching, we acquire a stutter, we scream in our sleep, we lose energy, we fall into depression. We owe it to ourselves to dare to start to confront
Our real nature. I think this is the correct option. Worse, sweeter, better, bitter.
One experiment in Australia showed that people rated the same wine higher when they thought it was $53 rather than $16 or $6. But get this, the experimenters had actually made that wine objectively worse by adding tartaric acid. It didn't matter. The price tag overwhelmed their own taste buds. In another study, scientists scanned the brains of people tasting wines that they thought were either $10 or $90. In reality, it was the same wine, but when they thought it was expensive, their brains showed more activity in a region associated with pleasant tastes and smells. So, the expensive wines may actually taste
better. So this is the line according to me. This is the correct option. So highlight incorrect word, most important task.
When the European Economic Community was established in 1957, its aim was, in broad terms, to move towards closer political and economic cooperation. Today, the much larger European Union has a far-reaching influence on many aspects of our lives, from the conditions we work under to the safety standards we must adhere to and the environment in which we live. In order to achieve the free flow of goods and services, workers and capital between the member countries, they needed to establish mutual policies in areas as diverse as agriculture, transport and working conditions. When they had agreed on these policies, they became law. Now, though, the EU is concerned with a far wider range of issues.
When societies were still mostly rural and agricultural, waste disposal was hardly an issue, partly because people tended to make use of everything, and partly because there was plenty of space to bury rubbish. It was when societies became predominantly urban and industrial that problems arose, mainly to do with health. City authorities had a hard time trying to find efficient ways of getting rid of all the rubbish. One of these was to get people to sort out their rubbish into different types, just as these days we are encouraged to separate our rubbish into different categories for easier removal and recycling. So, for example, kitchen rubbish was set aside and used for feeding animals. However, fears of disease put an end to that. In fact, it wasn't until the 20th century that all waste was simply thrown together and ploughed into landfills.
This is going to surprise anybody who's ever been shaken awake by a quake in Southern California, but geologists say that the Los Angeles basin is actually in a period of low seismic activity and has been for about the last 1,000 years. That's according to research published in the September issue of the journal Geology. The seismic lull is marked by relatively smaller and fewer earthquakes. That's compared with other periods with a lot of rumbling and crumbling. The period of big seismic activity in the LA basin that ended 1,000 years ago lasted about 4,000 years. Long-term data on seismic activity indicate that the calm period lasts about 1,500 to 2,000 years, which gives LA another 500 to 1,000 years off. Now, the researchers are specifically referring to what's called the Urban Fault Network, which is under the LA metropolitan area. It does not include the San Andreas Fault, which can still throw the occasional big one around. About 10 major San Andreas biggies have happened during the current LA basin lull. Nevertheless, if the current lull ends in the next millennium, LA's future could be very shaky.
So you will get 2 to 3 questions of highlight incorrect words in the final exam. So this is the last task of the listening section.
The timetable for next term will be available next week.
So the timetable. So timetable आपने combine लिखना है. Timetable for the next term will be available next week. So this is the sentence. The timetable, write down the timetable like this, for the next term will be available next week. So week means next week के लिए बोल रहा है, तो जो spellings होंगे WEEK.
The student union hosts a variety of social events.
The student, start your line with the capital letter. The student union, क्योंकि union already plural है, hosts या host a variety of social events. So social है तो वो event नहीं होगा, events होगा. So close your line with the full stop. The student union host a variety of social events. So if you are confused in the, then you can write down the.
Tutorials are scheduled in the final week of the term.
Tutorial जो word है वो plural है, तो are use करेंगे. Scheduled, अब हम यहाँ पे are के साथ third form of verb use कर रहे हैं, because the sentence is in the passive voice. In the final week of the term. Tutorials are scheduled in the final week of the term. Last,
the office opens on Monday and Thursday, directly following the freshman seminar.
so this is the repeat sentence, I think. The office opens on Monday, M capital, because it's the name of the day, and Thursday. Directly following the freshman seminar. The office opens on Monday and Thursday directly following the freshman seminar. So if you are confused in open and opens, then you can write down the both. You can add 2 to 3 words extra, but ऐसा नहीं करना कि if you are getting a sentence of 8 words long, then you are writing 16 words. You can add 3 to 4 words extra. So it will take some time to give the result, because this is the task of the speaking section. So speaking के लिए इसको time लगेगा. Then we can check the answers of the listening section. So this is the summarized spoken text, 10 out of 10. So it is divided into content, form. Form means you are satisfying the word limit. So take care of this thing कि if you are writing 49 words and 71 words in the final PT exam, then you will get 0 marks. Because अगर आप फॉर्म को सेटिस्फाई नहीं कर रहे हो तो आपका जो क्वेश्चन है वो चेक नहीं होगा. सो आपको मिनिमम मार्क्स मिलेंगे जो कि 10 मार्क्स हैं PT में. सो ऑलवेज ट्राई टू राइट डाउन इन दी फॉर्म, मीन्स विद इन 50 to 70 वर्ड्स. नेक्स्ट है ग्रामर, स्पेलिंग एंड वोकैबुलरी. सो एक चीज़ आपने और ध्यान रखनी है कि जिस स्पेलिंग्स में आप श्योर नहीं हो, जो स्पेलिंग्स आपको नहीं आते, क्योंकि सम टाइम ऐसा होता है कि हमें कुछ स्पेलिंग्स नहीं पता होते या हम कंफ्यूज होते हैं, देन डोंट ट्राई टू राइट डाउन दैट स्पेलिंग्स. क्योंकि अगर आप कंफ्यूज हो, because if you are losing marks in spelling, then you will also lose marks in vocabulary. Means if your targeted score is 60, then you can make a mistake in grammar, means you will lose 1 or 2 points, because अगर आप एक mistake कर रहे हो then you will lose 1 point, but if you are making 2 or more than 2, then they will get 0 point. बट अगर आप स्पेलिंग में मिस्टेक कर रहे हो तो वोकैबुलरी में भी सेम प्रॉब्लम आएगी. सो ग्रामर की अगर एक मिस्टेक हो जाती है, अगर आपका टारगेटेड स्कोर 60 है तो वो चलेगी, बट अगर स्पेलिंग्स गलत लिख रहे हो तो वो नहीं चलेगा. सो टेक केयर ऑफ दिस थिंग इन केस ऑफ लिसनिंग. So this is the right answer, B, C, D, but my option is B and D because I was not sure in the C option. And these are the listening filling the blanks, categorized, essentially, then realist, lessons, and the mate pursuit. Next is technologies, compatible products, fundamental understanding. Then being, fake, develop, simulating, details, analyzing. So this is MCQ single answer, highlight correct summary. Correct option is D. MCQ single answer, correct option is again D. And select missing word, here correct option is A. And this is second question of the select missing word, correct option is C. So again this is highlight incorrect words. So we can check the answers of right from dictation, because it's highlight incorrect words. So this is the first. The timetable for next term will be available next week. Check your spellings for right from dictation. The student union host HOSTS a variety of social events. Tutorials are scheduled in the final week of the term, and this is the office opens on Monday and Thursday directly following the freshman seminar. So if you are getting the name of a country, name of a month, name of a week, या फिर name of the day, then always write down the first letter capital. Remember this thing during your exam. So let's check the result. So it will take some time. So here are the repeat sentence: 82, then 76, 90, 83, 69. None of the students found it difficult to get a job. The sentence is correct, but I am getting 66 in fluency. So fluency and pronunciation is important in repeat sentence. Remember, content, if you want to achieve 80 plus or 90, then content is equally important, but focus on fluency and pronunciation in repeat sentence. So this is the result. In listening it's 88 and speaking 37, writing 49. So overall इसमें कुछ नहीं है, because this is the section test of the listening section only. So we can check the score analysis. So in write from dictation 100% important task है. Repeat sentence 88, then highlight incorrect word 93, might be कोई mistake होगी. Listening filling the blanks, then retell lecture 83, then summarize spoken text 100%, and these are the tasks which are least contributing in the listening section. So this is all about the listening mock test of PTE, and if you have any queries, like अगर आपकी कोई suggestions भी हैं, then you can write down in the comment box and share these videos with your friends, and do subscribe to my channel please, and thank you so much for watching this video.